Assalamu alaikum. This is Makita Knight from Plan Baraka and the Path to Presence. So today I'm going to talk to you about why your problem probably isn't boundaries. Now, I know that sometimes as women, as mothers, we can often think that the reason we're having issues in our marriage, the reason we're having trouble with our children, with family relationships, friend relationships, community, the reason why we feel like a doormat or whatever the case may be is because we don't have clear boundaries. All right, so first I'm going to start over. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina Muhammad al-Fatih lima ughliq wal khatim lima sabaq nasir al-haq bil haqq al-hadi ila siratil mustaqim wa ala alihi haqqa qadrihi wa mizanil azim. So yeah, I have this to say to you. Oftentimes we think or we're told that the root of our issues in our relationships, or the root of why we're not able to accomplish what we want to accomplish, whether it be in our personal lives, our artistic lives, hobbies, professional life, marriage, spirituality, whatever, is because we don't have clear boundaries, and we need to set boundaries. And I know about a year or so ago, maybe more than that, at least for me, I started seeing this whole issue of boundaries, people talking about it everywhere. What I want to say to you is that it is quite possible that your issue has nothing to do with boundaries at all. It's not necessarily about setting boundaries, because here's the thing. Until you know, I don't even want to say until you know yourself, because knowing yourself is a process. Learning about yourself is a process. But let me just say that if you have not taken the time to really get to know yourself, if you have not taken the time to really know your Lord and submit to your Lord, because if you know your Lord, you'll submit to Him. Your issue is not boundaries. How can you create boundaries when you don't even know who you are? You don't even know what you need. You don't even know what you're feeling. So I'll give you an example. I went through a period of time where I was, now looking back on it, I can say that I was feeling very overwhelmed. I can't really describe the right word. I was feeling stuffed. Let's put it that way. I was feeling stuffed to the brim, emotionally. And over time, it began to build into a feeling of feeling like I was being taken for granted, feeling that I wasn't appreciated, feeling that I was not supported in the way that I needed to be supported, and all of this stuff. And things kind of crescendoed as they end up doing. Now, later on, looking at it and looking at the path that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was taking me on, this beautiful path that had its, thorns and sharp edges and trials, what I realized is that I was upset with people not respecting boundaries, or people not supporting me in a way that I did not know what I needed, right? Number one, I didn't know what I needed. I just knew that I wasn't getting it. Number two, it was misplaced. I was putting the responsibility for taking care of my feelings, for supporting me, for creating space for me to do or be whatever this person that I thought that I should be, on someone else. And I was expecting my husband in particular to make space for me, or to support me in a way that was not his job to do, and that was unfair for me to expect from him, because I didn't know what it was that I wanted. Now, it wasn't until much later, and through trials and obstacles and the beauty of life, that I realized that my issue was that I was not being honest with myself. I was not taking full responsibility for the person that I am, right? Because we all have to stand on Yom Kiyama as ourselves. We are all accountable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for ourselves. And over and again, Allah gives us examples in the Quran where on the Day of Judgment, people come and their excuse is that, well, this is what I found my parents doing. Well, this is what everyone was saying, and I just said what they said. I have never seen a place in the Quran where that excuse is acceptable. Never. And this is not about even male versus female, because men and women, we both have to stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and answer for ourselves. So therefore, if I have to answer for myself, that means that I alone am responsible for myself. right? And if I really want to know what it is that I need, and if I really want to communicate what I need, then it's my responsibility to dig deep inside and be still and be quiet and be curious and be honest and be submissive to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ask Allah to unfold for me, untangle my emotions for me, right? Just open my eyes, open my heart, make me vulnerable to His truth and what it is that He's trying to show me. Now, it's only when I do that actually I don't need to create boundaries. I don't need to create boundaries because I'm taking full responsibility over my life. I'm taking full responsibility over the type of worshiper that I'm going to be, because I know that I am the one that is fully accountable, right? So it's not about, no one can trespass over, it's like people, so is there such thing as an oppressor? Of course, there are oppressors. But many times when we're talking about boundaries, we're not talking about oppressive situations. We're talking about situations where we are expecting people to treat us in a certain way that is not clearly communicated. And you don't need to clearly communicate something always by spelling it out, but by living your life and taking responsibility for yourself. That in and of itself creates certain possibilities and impossibilities in your life. So what I want to say to you is that instead of worrying about creating boundaries or thinking that all of your problems or that major issues are down to whether or not you have set clear boundaries or not, how about just taking the time to discover who you really are and what it is that you really want and what it is that you really need, and then take full responsibility for doing and being and growing into that person yourself. Things in your life will fall into place. They absolutely will. You don't have to worry about making a list of boundaries. And if that's what you want to do, go ahead. But what I'm saying is that first take the time to really sit and get to know yourself. And the best way to know yourself is to know your Lord. So I hope this helps you. I hope this was of some benefit. And if you like it, share, subscribe, all those sorts of things. And I'll see you next time, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.